in the practice leading up to it. So let's see how their priorities shift as G2, as you highlighted. First pick, and on the blue side, will be taking away both the Nico and the Yunar.
Don't worry, every time Vedius says shift or something related to, I will give a little slap on the wrist, okay? None of that's going to happen here. We've gone through the shifting memes. I feel like there's no more content.
It's not a meme, it's just part of my lexicon.
There's no more content. We've run out. We've run it dry, okay? I think we're getting towards the end. Now remember, again, blue side, red side as normal. And if you are just tuning in for the first time here today, you're a G2 fan or a Shifters fan, 26.2. Not as big as the opening season patch, but there are some things that will run you through getting into this game. I want to see if we see more Aatrox here again today as Orianna gets banned. We're looking more at the mid lane rather than my inquisitive thought for top. Vedi, what do you see is open?
Well, with the Malphite being open, last week we would have said first pick, first ban, but of course,
make it look too
that's the thing. So after the nerfs, it looks like that's shifted significantly in priority. Rumble, though, still going to be high on the list. And for Broken Blade, nonetheless, last year, one of the biggest conversations G2 was having was, do they play Rumble?
Yep.
On red side, they were constantly banning the Rumble themselves. When we spoke to the coaching staff, we heard about how Rumble was not something that they really wanted to prioritize, but they could definitely play it. We saw Broken Blade playing it a bunch in solo queue, but they never actually brought it out. And while he did have, I think, like 1 or 2 games on it last year, it was just something that this team did not prioritize. So for G2 to first pick the Rumble, definitely a big shift in their priorities.
It really is. And again, Vedius, you have to be careful. That's strike 2 of using the word. He's 3 and 5 historically, by the way. So for Broken Blade, you're right, like it's at the bottom of his wheelhouse. He's almost played Rek'Sai more than he has Rumble in top, as Shifters are thinking about what they can do in the jungle here. K'Sante already locked down, which we know is one of the strongest blind/answers to anything, really. And that Azir in Europe is still just hovering around. They get smacked down for Nuke, and I think Nuke's Azir is pretty damn good as well.
I mean, I wonder if we'll see something similar to earlier in the day. The Sejuani plus Yone could be a very effective combo into the Azir. Something that, I mean, there was a World Championship, I think it was 24, where we saw that as an answer all the time. That was kind of the mid matchup, Azir versus Yone.
Right with the year, yeah.
SkewMond hovering over his fabled.
That's more relevant, isn't it? But I guess we get the mid matchup that we are expecting at the moment. Taliyah's open. AD jungle pairing, Vedi, since we have AP solo laners. There's so many AD junglers up at the moment. It's just about what is S tier for G2 here, and what does SkewMond fancy for his game of the day?
That's a great question. Xin would be something we would highly expect last year, but Xin's priority definitely seems a lot more mixed in the current meta.
Vi's also been seen.
Yeah, Vi, but I don't think she's as strong. Jarvan is something we've seen paired a lot alongside it, but yeah, all right, we're just going to see a stock standard Jarvan. This does give Boukada a lot of flexibility. He was hovering the Nidalee earlier. I mean, really good matchup for the Nidalee, can really bully the Jarvan, but into this composition, or with this composition, I should say, that Shifters is building, I think Nidalee wouldn't make a ton of sense. Something like a Wukong, I think they could do.
Yep.
They could also grab themselves an AD carry if they want. That's completely fine. The jungle pool, I think, is deep enough. You could pretty much pick whatever you want here.
Yeah. Okay, Ezreal locked in for Paduck, and remember, we're really excited about this bottom lane. If you didn't hear the stories, or at least throughout the first week of us giving him a bit of hype, coming into the second, he's getting a hell of a lot more for how they played their lanes. This time on Ezreal, we'll see if Trymbi gets a partnership deal where he can play a stronger 2v2. Maybe, Vedi, we talk about something like the Karma, something that is like an enchanter, if they can ramp up some engage.
Is my immediate thought.
Bard is also there.
Ezreal is a champion that is quite happy to be independent, and that gives the freedom for Trymbi to roam around the map. So why not unlock him with something like a Bard? I wonder if G2 is at all concerned about that. Taliyah and Rumble as well, because they don't have those built-in dashes. Once that flash is gone, a Bard can be used to set up for an engage. And right now, Shifters are lacking ways to start team fights. So things like Rakan could be really valuable. Nautilus also a potentially good pick, not necessarily the best alongside an Ezreal. But also there's potential for disengage. Poppy can be good. I think the Alistair ban makes a ton of sense. But right now that support pool is really important, just because depending on what Shifters choose to pick in the jungle, which right now I feel like is likely to be something like the Wukong.
Yeah.
Boukada's already had 2 games on the Wukong so far this split. And I think that it would just synergize nicely with the teamfight composition that Shifters is already building for themselves. It looks like they're trying to mitigate the AD carry pool as much as they can. While Hans Summit isn't famous for his Kaiser, it is something that I think could be good here. Nope, they're going to look to remove the Nautilus instead. So they want to get rid of some of the lockdown, which can be very effective against an Ezreal and an Azir specifically.
Well, I've got some hot tea, I believe. Our fridge has disappeared upstairs, and as the Nautilus gets banned, you know, my excitement will only build from here. Vedi, I've got a very low bar set is what I'm trying to say. I'm a bit sad. If anyone's seen a red fridge around, please return it to where we can get cold water. By the way, with the Alistar gone and the Nautilus as well, we're getting rid of some of those traditional engage supports. I also think about Labrov as Poppy goes as well. G2 fans might also let us know that Rel is also up and available, so that's on top of my mind. Maybe a steal away from Shifters here, especially when you're going up against Labrov.
I mean, G2 might be thinking of a Rakan themselves with both Alistar and Poppy banned. They might want to grab that. Question of whether Shifters choose to take it away from them or if instead they've got something like the Bard prioritized. Right now we expect something like the Wukong to come through.
Hold it.
But now I am... Oh, okay, they're going to do a last-minute pivot to Xin. I guess they want a disengage tool. His ulti can act as a way to just push the Jarvan back. But again, a dash into the Taliyah, I think... I mean, I guess Wukong also has a dash, so I guess it doesn't really matter that much, but...
Hard to avoid any kind of dash into Taliyah, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I think that I guess it's not really too different. You have a little bit more skirmishing power in the early game with Azir, a few more playmaking options. In any case, G2, what are they thinking about going? So again, while Han Summit isn't famous for his Kai'Sa, it's something that we saw him playing a huge amount more last year.
Yep.
And it synergizes nicely with the composition that they built. And again, given the Alistar and Poppy bans that we saw, there is that Rakan that we expected. A 6-on-1 scoreline as well for the Rakan so far in the LEC this split, and a very effective engage support that has easy access onto the backline, synergizes nicely with what G2 have drafted for themselves. They've got good side lane presence, they've got good engage, solid scaling. I think the Shifters' main game plan is to play a little bit more defensively. The problem is their engage is quite limited. If they do go for a Tahm Kench, I'd be a little bit surprised.
The 2v2? Okay, there's the karma, all right. So for Trymbi, I know we were talking about the Bard before. I mean, kind of a different job, right? Like, their engage is kind of limited. What do you think about how Shifters kind of start this game off?
Well, they definitely have a very winning bot lane 2 versus 2.
That's right.
I think jungle involvement is going to be really important to keep an eye on. Well, basically, Boukada wants to enable that bot lane, whereas SkewMond wants to shut it down. Because the moment you can find a kill on that bot side, it really alleviates a lot of the pressure that Trymbi and Paduck are going to want to be throwing down. What I will say about this composition is Shifters have a lot of range available to them. Yep. They've got Azir, they've got Ezreal, they've got the Karma poke as well, and Karma only facilitates that because that bonus movement speed she provides with the shield means that she can, you can see how speed, shield,
I get it, movement sheet, yeah.
In any case, it makes it much easier for someone like Ezreal to walk up quickly, use that bonus movement speed, land a Q, maybe land an auto, and then back off again. So it can be quite difficult to actually lock them down, which is why I think the Nautilus ban makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, it's not that G2 don't have any engage themselves. Rakan is going to be super important here.
They're captains of dive here, Vedi.
Absolutely, but there are a lot of ways to escape from this Jarvan ultimate.
Okay.
Like both Ezreal and Azir, very difficult targets to lock down. So G2 are going to have to burn those flashes ahead of these fights, and Labrov is going to be super important if they want to be winning out on these 5v5s. An
important matchup. Remember again that they only face off once. Shifters coming off the first week with what you could reasonably say could have been a 3-0 start, but 2-1 nevertheless. If you're a Shifters fan, your stocks are rising. If they can do some of the damage they did in week 1 now against G2, this would be a brilliant start and a very different look for this organization's debut.
I mean, playing G2 early in the split can be both a blessing and a curse. Because on the one hand, you could argue G2 is a team that typically ramps up throughout the regular season.
Oh, for sure.
So they are an easier opponent earlier on in the split. But on the other hand, going up against G2 as they turn that switch on could also be a very scary thing to play against. So we'll see which G2 shows up today, because we do know that Caps, earlier on in this split, he didn't have the strongest of performances. We actually looked at some of those performances broken out across each of his games throughout the split, as you can see them on your screen right now. So in terms of the laning advantage, you can see that he found himself at a deficit up until they played against SK.
Yeah.
Right? And you can see
the stats are kind of skewed a bit.
Yeah, and you can see that as the games went on, Caps' performance slowly improved over time. And this is kind of what we mean by G2 as a team typically ramps up as the season goes on, as they get back into the groove of the regular season. Their players really find their form as well. And Caps already looking to build off of that momentum as he leverages his early push against Nuke in the mid lane.
Well, if you're the Caps lawyer, then I got to be the attorney for my guy in the bottom lane, Vedi, because I feel like this bottom lane, not only are we kind of spruiking that hey, they're looking like one of the best bot duo at the moment, and a lot of people are like, you're crazy. But Paduck and Trymbi, what entertaining 2v2s. And you already talked about how potent this lane can be. I'm hoping to see more of those setups for 2v2 duo kills once again in this game.
Well, I heard from Chronicler coming into this split about how aggressive of a player Paduck is. He's a man that loves to fight and loves to play with confidence. And as you rightly said, it feels like that since he's been on this stage, he's done just that. You saw it replicated in the stats. So we'll see how he performs today up against Hansama and Labrov. Right now, they are leveraging the push that they have. Hansama doing a good job of finding what last hits he can, though, as things so far kind of going as we expect across the rift. Junglers making their way towards the bot side of the map, kind of as we expected as well, because we talked about that bot lane 2v2 being very important in the early game.
There's no ward spotting out, but again, I feel like right now junglers are pretty linear. We just see most of them pathing towards bot lane, especially with, in the LEC, it being the most volatile lane early. At top side, it's Tank versus Rumble, and even though Rumble has come ahead a few CS in most of these matchups, I will say I still feel like Cassante's at that point, Fetty, where he's just like the most versatile top lane in the game. He loves going to level 20. The dude survives pretty much any lane. We're not playing Vayne top or any AD carry. It just feels like he gets away with murder.
He absolutely does. Feels like a very well-rounded champion even after repeated changes to the champ. Still seems to just be the pro player staple. Nice knock up there from Labrov, but it's not going to stop Paduck and Trymbi from continuing their push. Trymbi's a little bit low on HP, but he does have those 2 regen pots available to him. SkewMond now, actually setting his sights on mid lane.
He's going in deep as well. He wants to get the push out in his mid wave. Flicked back though. Where's the response? He has none. He's slowed down, and if Nuke flashes now, he knows he's dead. He still takes it anyway. To be matched, no. Caps hits him from afar. The threaded volley for first blood.
A nice, easy gank from SkewMond, set up by Caps initially getting the knockback. The thing is, for Nuke, he has to decide if it's worth flashing away from that knockback. It's Labrov getting very low.
But it's in return, it's in return. Labrov has to get out himself as well. The heal's already burned, he gets out of dodge. Low mana bar to pursuit as well. So for Shifters, they do fight back.
It is skirmishing across the rift, but it is G2 that get themselves onto the board initially. Caps with a very nice knockback, as we were mentioning earlier, and SkewMond mainly there for the assist, and they get the flash out from Nuke as well. He's not going to lose out on too much because he does have the TP available to him, while Caps is running that Ghost, but ultimately still an advantage gained for the man in the mid lane.
Good side step from Nuke there, getting away from the threaded volley this time. I just feel like, again, we were highlighting how Caps is going to ramp up. He hasn't TP'd onto a minion yet, Vedi, so this already is 100% stock intake. This is absolutely great. Flick again, side step, or rather step back from Nuke, as Boukada's in the near as well. Labrov sets up and wants an engagement. It's going to be 3v2 before long. So for G2, as their junglers now getting engaged upon, the fight pursues. Trymbi's looking for an angle as Caps is low on mana. He's just run onto it with a shifting sand. Flash is committed. Trymbi gets a tether, kept in place. Nuke stands and delivers for a piercing blow. It's 1-for-1.
The supports make their presence known in the middle lane, but it's Trymbi that helps his mid laner get something back. That goal difference going to be decreased. Caps going to be forced back to base earlier than planned. Will still pick up the lost chapter, but nice play there from Trymbi to help his mid laner out.
Again, with that roam, we were talking about how Ezreal can be self-sufficient as Vedius. The words today ain't strong. I call you Ezreal. And so Paduck was just farming all the time. SkewMond now on the bot side. We'll see if anything can be done here for G2 as Shifters still push up, get some good trades themselves. I'm looking at the objective time because remember, Dragon's sitting there waiting, and so is Boukada. Waiting in the brush at level 5. Meets SkewMond, sees him. Over the scuttle now. A bit of a brew.
SkewMond, thanks to the push that Caps has in mid, means that he's the one with the advantage. Smite secured, level 6 as well. This crab is super important because of that level 6 it gives.
Instant Cataclysm. Instant Cataclysm comes out. Boukada flushes out of it, goes forward instead. Caps threaded volley is just helping out. Poked from afar. Emperor's divided. SkewMond flashes and matches, and here's Labrov. A turn from G2. Shifters overconfident there as the Weaver's Wall cuts off any chance of escape, and now Trymbi has nowhere to go. Labrov will get the follow-up, and Hansama will get the double kill.
That crab was so important because of the level 6 that it gave over to SkewMond. Boukada had his flash available. He knew that he would be able to disengage from this fight, but Shifters, rather than disengaging, engage onto G2. They see an opportunity to turn their fight in their favor, but it's Hans Sama that collapses first. It's Labrov that arrives in time to assist with his mid and jungle to secure more kills for G2.
It's Boukada who stepped up to the play instead of stepping back. For Shifters, it costs them dearly. 1,500 gold lead and mid and bot for G2 in a very comfortable position after this set play.
So again, I want to draw your attention to the minimap and just look at the fact that Rakan and Kai'Sa have the control in the river, so they already get to make the rotation up first, whereas Ezreal is lagging behind. This guarantees G2 the numbers advantage, and while SkewMond was interrupted in his flag and drag, the fact is he flashes over the wall to assist with the kill onto the Azir, and there's nothing that Shifters can do in response. Trying to take that fight, I think, was just too ambitious from Nuke and Boukada. They didn't respect the ability of their bot lane to come in with the assist.
And Nuke as well, not having flash, is just another thorn in the back of that play. So 700 gold lead already mentioned for mid. Caps already has a lost chapter, so that one item Taliyah on the way. And while we saw that play happen, it didn't lead to Dragon, so for Shifters, maybe another chance here to contest or trade objectives, as Grubs will be spawning momentarily up in that top side as well. But if you leave one part of the map right now, G2 seem to have the push in both mid and bot. You can see Hans Sama just getting up in the business of these minions, so it feels like Dragon should be a foregone conclusion as G2 started off.
Yeah, I mean, G2 just have far too much control right now. Easy push through bot side. And remember that when you're picking an Ezreal plus a Karma, you're mainly picking it to fight through bot, right? You're trying to build advantages, make it very difficult for the Kai'Sa and the Rakan to lane. Well, the Kai'Sa has a gold. The Kai'Sa has 2 kills.
It's not going well.
Yeah, it's that type of advantage that you wanted to build early on is not going your way, mainly because G2 has made a lot of the action focused around mid. I thought that SkewMond would be investing his resources to protect bot lane, but instead he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to keep playing for Caps. I'm going to try and enable Caps as much as I can. And both Caps and SkewMond have been working very well together with Labrov coming in as reinforcements.
You can see that Shifters are moving their attention. See, I didn't say the word. I actually used a different word instead. They're moving their attention towards mid, trying to punish Caps. But Caps has been very reserved, very respectful of Trymbi's movement now. As Ward gets placed down here in the Phaelite, just spots out that Shifters are starting these Grubs. Having to be pulled away, though, is Boukada, as Grubs will reset. And even with a bit of topside throw, they are paying respect themselves. So no real momentum until Boukada thinks, maybe I should start it a second time.
SkewMond is doing his Krugs. He even pinged, I'm doing my Krugs.
He cares not.
He was like, yeah, I'm fine with this. Labrov, you're welcome to do what you like, but I'm doing my Krugs. And those Krugs have been secured. SkewMond going to go back to base.
Hold up.
And pick up a very, very juicy Sundered Sky to complement this early game.
Yeah, put it between 2 bits of bread, bit of lettuce, some mayonnaise.
Would highly recommend not treating Sundered Sky as an appropriate condiment to a sandwich.
Bro, it's an item. It could be a bit of paper for you know. Like you don't know.
You're ruining my fantasy right now.
Why am I?
Yes.
I didn't know you had a fantasy.
I imagine SkewMond wielding the Sundered Sky as a weapon as it's meant to be.
That's your fantasy, is it?
No, it's the power fantasy of playing games, Jake. Follow the program,
I was going to say, we're going to have to talk to SkewMond about this fantasy because it's a little bit odd in Vedius' spare time. No. It is good working with you. I don't know why they paired us together 3 times in a row, but there must be something working here.
Dragon 3 minutes away. So not an easy objective for either side to play for. Easy plates to secure on the bot side, push in the top side as well. Ooh, they're setting up a bit of a roam towards bot side. Trymbi sniffs it out. I mean, I pretty much sees it happening.
He sees it, but he wants to get nearby. Caps is hovering, though. 4 members of G2 still here, and even Boukada, as he puts the ward down, he gets caught out with the seismic shove, a threaded volley, and an easy engage. Cataclysm down, and there goes Boukada right into the ground. You can't do anything, and bot is still an interesting proposition as G2 layer the wall down, and Cap getting in for the engage. Down he goes as Trymbi sets up, flashes away, but he cannot escape. Now it's up to Paduck to survive in the 1 versus 4. Hans Sama takes a turret shot, so even with the barrier, maybe Paduck gets something here. The auto's out, and it's all he needs. A shutdown finally. Taking on the world is this big duck, but how can he do it? 1 versus 3, has to kite around a missing shot that misses Arcane Shift timed well, but a shove means he can no longer move. Caps will make it a trade, but my lord, did Paduck try.
He really gave it his all, but SkewMond acting as a wall to make sure that those skill shots did not connect. means that G2 find themselves with 3 kills for 1. Boukada not respecting the jungle presence that G2 have in that bot side jungle. An easy kill for SkewMond converts into a bot dive. Shifters realize that there's not really many places for them to go, so they have to run to the safety of their tower. Trymbi flashes away, gets knocked up. Hanslhammer picks that one up. The tower aggro is managed well, but Hanslhammer is now isolated from the rest of his team. That makes it easy for Paduck to, at the very least, trade one back.
He also got the cannons, a big dub. Absolutely huge dub. But the problem is Hanslhammer is still 1,300 gold ahead. Just finished his quest. 3-1 Kai'Sa with Kraken already. Han's getting ganked, but Trymbi is just going to be able to poke him out, nothing more. And Vedi, I am seeing a game that is just slowly being gapped here by G2. We asked what version of G2 is going to show up today. So far, pretty good one. A pretty solid one.
Yeah, pretty solid indeed. Their week 1 performance was definitely left a lot to be desired.
Yes.
Especially that game versus GX. It felt like they had it in the bag. The Analyst desk broke it down. That throw, diving underneath the tower on the bot side of the map. A very egregious mistake from their side. We'll see if they can close this one out cleanly. Given the goal lead that they currently hold on to, it feels like that it's very much their game to lose. The Shifters do have a strong scaling element on their side. Let's not forget that. A single mistake from G2 could be enough to bring Shifters back into this game, as Xia Ezreal is a tried and true combo that has won many a late game before.
Oh, yes. Close for Caps to interrupt. But how well can they space? It's what you talked about. Great engage from G2. Disengage there from Shifters to try and build the space so they can play one of these fights. I mean, they do have the items now to start thinking about it, Vedi. We've got one item here on Nuke, and Paduck now with his Trinity Force just completed in the recent phase. No Manamune makes me question as Labrov might be called out, turns into engage. TP follow up as well. Boukada is in the mix here, and he's gotten down to half HP already with the shove back as well. It's going to go even further. First the fire, then the flames, and G2 bring it in all over again onto Paduck. The range is enough, but where are the kills from Shifters? There are none. Caps gets close to dying as SkewMond thinks about angle number 2. And G2 have just moved to 5,000 gold on the next dragon with each Shifters walk up. There we go, a perfect engage, lay it up. No movement for the Shifters. They got sticky keys.
4 quick kills for G2 as they just rip apart Shifters in the middle lane. Rooster has no TP. There's no way for him to follow up. But that Broken Blade TP to create a numbers advantage. Boukada's positioning again, just disrespecting the control that they actually have on the map. Walking into that brush, face checking into G2 resulted in kill after kill after kill. And again, look at the state. He has the control ward. He's picking a fight with Labrov when you can see SkewMond taking your blue and Caps is right in front of your face. They pick up an easy kill. Paduck already uses the E. I mean, what choice does he have? The Rumble ultimate was well placed by Broken Blade. And then Shifters, they want to push mid back out. They think, you know what, Dragon's gone, we can push this out, but G2 don't leave, and we're back in action.
We are indeed, but Caps gets the stun up. Flash for flash, Nuke doesn't find anything. Threat of volley is good damage again. Nuke knows he has to get out of there, and a 1v2, Caps is holding strong with Ghost now active. Hang on. Oi, sidestep imminent, needed. Nuke, one shot away from dying. Boukada now steps up to the plate, but I don't think he wants to. SkewMond's on the way, doesn't have flash, but he has a flag, and he can drag. Right on with the chilling smoke. Boukada's getting some movement speed, but he flashes away from the Cataclysm as the rest of G2 are on the way. A long way to go, but I think it's going to be a quick route to the base instead. He does get a trade onto Labrov, but Hans gets out in time. A 1-for-1. The Shifters get caught again.
I mean, I like the idea from Shifters. You just have to go for something. Look for a pick on a side lane. Try and slow the game down as much as possible so that you can look to try and scale up. But, I mean, G2 turned every single play in their favor. SkewMond with a 3-0-8 performance on Jarvan. It's a little bit deceptive, but still 100% kill participation from him. 3-1-7 for Caps in the middle lane. And G2 have definitely showed up here in week 2.
As we get a teleport from Labrov, close to catching out. Paduck does get away though, hidden in the brush. Herald is up and available, and it does feel like a much later game than seeing the Herald would indicate, right? Because G2 have run the map from the word go, really. There's been a couple of close plays, but that double kill on Hanslhammer, that did feel like the rolling ball that nobody could stop. Now with mid turret down as well. How do Shifters play this game, Betty? Need another 25 minutes to be in the game, or?
Well, I was going to say that their items really aren't that bad.
They're not.
There was, because before the fight in mid lane, the items in mid and AD were basically identical. The items are not identical anymore.
Hansama ulti onto Paduck. Now, we can talk about items in a second because Paduck's about to get solo killed. However, there's a bit of help from Shifters. So now Hansama's on an island. Trymbi knows. Flash away, forced away, and a mystic shot. Paduck is taking the play, but blocked by Caps, the hero from the mid lane. We start clapping. Paduck is still looking for that angle, but he doesn't have an ult available. Hansama will crawl away.
I mean, I think that's a great demonstration of how skilled Paduck actually is. In a 1v1 scenario where he is outgunned, outmatched, he's still able to get close enough to his support to then give him an opportunity to turn it around, and Q after Q connects. If it wasn't for Caps at the very end there, that would have been a kill in favor of Paduck. 11
HP for Hansama, by the way, if you're wondering. Thank you, production.
Very close, very, very close.
I mean, still a winning play overall. They've slimmed the goal down 500 as Nuke is picking up the turret plates by himself. He's unmatched, immovable object right now. He will eventually get this as G2 reset, but I guess the next wave will come in.
I don't know if he can stay for this tower.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
thank you, home guard.
The tower's a little bit too tanky, and yeah, G2's already back out on the map.
But I mean, look, gold didn't shift from the play, right? So that's a win.
I mean, the way to look at it is the game slowed down a little bit, a teeny weeny bit. So that's a small W for Shifters. And Rooster's going to get a tower as well in the top lane, so a little bit of gold back.
Where's the Shifters support in our Twitch chat? What's going on? G2 bias there.
Well,
G2
right now,
biased.
G2 is winning.
Yeah, that's...
it's
results-based
It's somewhat easier to talk about the team that is winning.
Yeah, but true fans root for their teams even when they're 10k gold down.
I'm sure they're there.
Where?
You're welcome to open Twitch chat and look for them.
I will not. I'm a professional. I'm working right now, Vedius.
Okay, great.
That's in my personal time, right?
Okay.
Those are my off days.
Well, Caps is pushing in bot. They've got good control over mid as well. Labrov and SkewMond are making their way back out onto the map in anticipation of the dragon spawning in 45 seconds. And the vision control around the bot side, just textbook plays right now from G2. Shifters, their best play is to just keep stalling for as long as they can. Try and get to 2 items. It's kind of the only saving grace that they have right now is that the composition does scale relatively well.
Yep.
And I'll have to hope that G2 makes similar mistakes to what they did last week. But Harold's now going to be dropped. G2 do not want to slow this game down at all. Good pressure will be generated on the bot side of the map.
Rightly so.
Dragon soon to spawn. Catch mid wave once more, push that out. Move to Dragon, easy objective pickup. And then you start setting your sights on Baron.
How clean it is right now. SkewMond's looking for a pick onto Paduck. He has flash, he has everything. Labrov burns his, and there Paduck in response. Caps now comes into the mix as well. The shove connects, and he has no chance. Caps on a killing spree. And this has just been a clean Taliyah game, hasn't it?
I mean, it's been a clean game from start to finish from G2.
Right,
I think they completely punished Boukada twice in the early game for just disrespecting the amount of control. Now, again, part of his responsibility is to be that face checker alongside Rooster, but looking for fights in the early game in the way that they did and just not respecting the control that G2 had led to him getting punished multiple times. But here's Rooster.
Maybe a chance on the Hansama. He's in trouble, pulls out that killer instinct. This is Cassandre stuff, but Labrov's going to find him right before he hatches. Hansama gets another one now. We look for Boukada as Labrov looks for another engagement. SkewMond by his side as well. Left side of your fight is Broken Blade, killing Trymbi, and G2 killing the rest. A true shot barrage from downtown matters not. Next Dragon, more blood, more gold. This is G2's map.
G2 just constantly have the numbers advantage. Rooster realizes that he's the target of this play. He can see on the minimap that his team is right behind him, so he thinks, hey, maybe this is playable. Trymbi's right there. But then Labrov zones away the support jungle combo. Rooster is left isolated, and the rest of G2 then collapse to help their AD carry out. Then it's just about trying to retreat out of this situation. A lot of damage comes through from the ulti of Paduck, but it's not enough to pick up any kills. So 15-3 the scoreline, a 9.3k goal lead. And the champions of summer from last year find themselves here in week 2 with quite the strong performance.
A very different start to the week, I would say. Very different indeed. And it is good. I mean, I feel like, you know, G2 fans go on the ups and downs. Obviously, they're used to being a championship team, a winning team. But they're probably used to by now, Vedi. Sometimes the split doesn't start off as well.
Well, I mean, the thing about G2 is they just kind of have the history to back it up, you know? Yep. Normally, you can't put a lot of weight, especially into these best of ones, as to how they're actually looking. But here in week 2, they're looking much better. The Shifters, though, I think that I understand why you'd want to go for more of this scaling style of comp.
Especially in this league, the slowest league in the world right now.
Yeah, right now it feels like that teams are not being super proactive. But when a team is super proactive, you can see how quickly things can get out of control.
Yeah.
Especially if you feel like you have to kind of fight your way back into the game. You just don't have the spikes needed. But saying that, look at this Ezreal. He's now got 2 items. But my point is very much just cope, because there's a 10,000 gold difference between the two teams. And that Kai'Sa has 3 items with a BF sword. So, yeah, I think the game is over. Assuming G2 can in fact destroy that Nexus.
No, Betty. Have you not been here long enough? A game's not over until it's over, okay?
That's true, that's true.
Heretics last year taught me that. GX this split taught me that. Well, technically, Shifters taught us all that, didn't they?
All right, well, I'm ready to be proven wrong,
okay.
Shifters.
Here we go. So we lock in, we look for the play. Baron's up. How do they steal it?
That's what they're going to need to do. First, can they protect their own red buff? No.
Okay. -1 then. The Baron's still up. That's a win.
But they can duo it, can't they? Just Jarvan plus Kai'Sa?
Yeah.
I think so.
Probably.
They've conceded mid-control for now. We'll give Rooster away into the river, but because there's no top control, they're a little bit too scared to make that much of their presence known.
Losing bot wave as well. Vedi mids on the horizon. Caps is getting the push there, so Shifters is just slowly bleeding out. Nuke goes and responds.
Very
that
clean.
means top is just open, so yeah, you're right. Clean is the right word.
It's just vision suffocation as Shifters lose more and more of the map. Rooster needs to get out of there, as the tower will be cut off from support. I mean, slow and steady wins the race, as they say.
Oh, he found Paduck. Now, Cataclysm or what? He's waiting. He is waiting. He does indeed do some damage. With that big flag, he does a lot. Cataclysm down. Paduck's thinking, maybe I can. With Redemption, he was close, but SkewMond just solo killed the enemy AD carry. Nuke is coming in to get some revenge. But with the shutdown now and the hot pot down, it's Broken Blade who's turned into the ring. He flashes away, and I think G2 are playing with them a bit. 4 members of Shifters are here. And Broken Blade are hard, and someone thinks, what if? Can we do it? And they probably can.
Well, it's plays like that that give Shifters an avenue back into the game. Paduck very close to getting a kill onto SkewMond. But by denying the jungler, it means that the option for a Baron now somewhat dissipates. Well, G2 will still secure a tier 2 tower.
He didn't deny the jungler, he denied himself.
Absolutely he did. He said, I'm going for a fight in the mid lane. And there was this mental battle between when he was going to arcane shift.
Yep.
He didn't end up using it.
It's classic. I swear, players get bored. Like, in games like this, he's like, I'm just got to do something.
Oh, I mean, having spoken to Jackies last year, we 100% know that sometimes pro players get bored.
Got bored.
But he has red buff, so he can stick on to the Ezreal. Ulti comes down.
It was close with the redemption.
There was the arcane shift at the end. SkewMond had to flash, and then it ends up being Nuke that has to clean this one up. SkewMond tries to get in range of his flag that's still there, so that he can queue away to safety. Try and buy time for Rumble to arrive, but then Broken Blade has to flash away, trying to help his mid laner out, as both Caps and Labrov were basing. So that was one of those plays, given that all of the team wasn't on the same page, that SkewMond was very much like, oh, I think I can find an easy kill here.
True.
But
this is when we need a coach check-in for G2.
Absolutely.
And it's in the back burner, it's just,
coach would be
finish the game, guys, stop mucking about.
Stop mucking about, indeed. Shifters happy with it, though. They get a little bit more gold for themselves. Dusk and Dawn finish for Nuke as he works towards his 3rd item.
Very quick news. Labrov is 4 assists away from 3,000. So this fight, very big potential on the horizon. The Shifters.
I think if he shields Jarvan, he'll just get 4 assists by default.
True. Presses Q, maybe heals Broken Blade or Caps. Hell, even Han Summer, it's all good. Bruce is going to approach. So, right here in front of them, Labrov with an angle, the quickness to get 3,000 assists. He's already hit pretty much everyone. Even if he dies, and he's close to. The battle dance that runs out. Shifters are doing okay for Paduck. Dead on the rim. You get to kill in response. Trymbi somehow alive. Hang on a minute. Shifters doing better than they would have thought at 10,000 gold disadvantage, but SkewMond's going to do it himself. Nuke steps up, but the problem is this Jarvan is unleashed with a big hot pot behind him. A double over, and I'm pretty sure Labrov must have done it there.
G2 just barely navigate their way through the fight. Shifters put up a strong resistance to the G2 engage as Labrov finds a beautiful flank.
Oh, he's one short, Vedi.
He's still one short.
He's one short of 3,000.
He died
the last kill expired with
right.
Oh, no.
All right, we'll look back. Fantastic engage from Labrov onto the back line. Paduck naturally becomes the target. Hans is quick to follow up. Great shielding, though, from Trymbi to give his last bit to make sure that his AD carry can stay alive, but it isn't quite enough. Meanwhile, on the other side, though, Caps falls to Nuke, and you're thinking, hang on, it's 4 versus 3, maybe they can do this. I think Boukada just engages too early. He goes in before Nuke is in range, and then Nuke has to even commit his flash to try and just get the GA out from Hans Sama, which he can't do. And then it ends up being a one fight for G2 at the end of it.
So 13,000 gold, but, you know, Shifter's got some fire. Like,
well, now it's cope. Now it's
cope, but hey, 3-item Azir, here we go. You know, anything's possible. I'm telling you.
That is not a 3-item Azir. Now it is.
Now it is, but bro, it's not even cope, you know? Just what we've seen. Thank you for these comments. We got any more? Our Twitch shadows are getting more and more fun, you know? Because you're not in the chat, Vedi. Sorry, I had to insult you. I felt like you insulted me before.
I felt...
No. You know, all the stuff I've been copying from you today. I tried to say hello to this guy, and he ignored me.
Move past it.
I can't.
Ignore you.
I thought we were friends. This is kind of like the relationship between G2 and Shifters right now. It burns a hole in the heart, and it's probably for the Shifters fans. G2 about to move to their second win. And this is how they do it. Through top, apparently. They flick back onto Boukada again. Instant crescent guard. The ulti's down. Zhao now has nothing to engage upon, or rather to use on the engage. One inhibitor at the very least. G2 are taking it slow.
They've only got one wave of minions to work with so far, but that top lane is making its way closer to the tower. Not the easiest towers to siege, thanks to the wave clear that they do have. They need to try and keep Nuke away from the objective as the poke comes through from Caps. Now the tower's starting to melt.
They can't do anything. They just got to watch. Spectator League of Legends for Shifters. Another inhib. And I guess they choose to fight at the Nexus turret.
I mean, they're going to be forced to fight the last-ditch effort. Rooster stacking up his Q3. He's got it. SkewMond goes in.
We go Equalizer down as well. SkewMond sent back with the all-out. He's got a GA available, though. He still gets his engage off, and he's tanking the turret. Slow to go down while the rest of the fight continuing behind the Nexus turret. Rooster doesn't get a flip back, so Brockblade survives for now. The engage again, the Cataclysm out, and a double to Hans Sama. He's picking up all the kill credit this game. As Broken Blades dealing with Rooster, you can see Paduck is a one-man army. Hans Sama going to pull out the killer instinct, but with his lethal tempo, Shifter stand, no chance. G2, this is the team we wanted to see and expect here at the start of week 2.
A very strong performance from G2 from start to finish. Picking apart and punishing Shifters in the early game.